Welcome to another video. So in this one we are going to work with the activity 4. So last video also we worked on this activity. So this is the Samadhi book store activity. So we are going to develop a small Java desktop application to a bookstore called Samadhi. So in this one so actually in last few videos we completed several parts, but today's video so we are going to check how to use these double OP concepts when developing these kind of applications. So because in the previous video also we learned how to use this how to implement some functionalities like if you go to this manage book. So here in the last video so we completed this delete book, update book functions, but today we are going to see how we are going to use this double OP concepts when you are going to develop this kind of application. To that I actually used only one class here, so that is the book class. So first we will see how we are going to implement this book class, and after that how to use this book class to do these functions. So in this book class so you can see that I'm having 6 properties here. One is barcode, other one is name, author, price, quantity, and con object is special because I'm going to connect this book class with a database. So therefore I'm going to have a connection object as well, a property. So that is why I mentioned it as a con. And other than that we are having methods here. So we have two constructors. One is the empty constructor, so that is book, and the other again we are having parameterized constructor. So that means I'm going to create an object with some values as well. So that is why I'm using a parameterized constructor. So we have two constructors. One is book constructor, so that is empty one, and the second constructor is a parameterized constructor. Okay, and then we are having a set barcode method, because you can see these properties are private properties. So if the property is private, so then we cannot access these properties from the outside. So then if we need to access some values, so then we need to have some public methods. So here to set some values, because when you are going to do some delete kind of thing, so we need to specifically mention which record we are going to delete. So in this case the barcode is the primary key we are using in this environment, in this application. So therefore we need to have a method, we need to have a way to set a value to this barcode. To that I am having a public method set barcode, and other than that we are having the other methods add book, update book, delete book. So I'm not going to use set and get methods for other properties, because in this scenario we don't need to use those kind of we don't need to use those kind of methods. But if you like, you can add those things as well, but in this case so I'm going to use only one set method, so that is to set the barcode, because all the other values I'm going to set through the second constructor. So that means the parameters constructor. So then I can set those values and I can create the object. So let's move to the activity. So in this one first I'm going to create a class called book. So you can right click on the package classes and you can create a Java class called book. So then so we discussed that we are having kind of a shortcut or the ID tool here to add some codes. So you can right click and you can go to insert code, and from here you can select add property, and then you can give which property you need. So here the first one is in my case barcode, and the type is string. So then we need to mention the access modifier, whether it's a private, package, protected to public. So in this case, so according to my class so you can see it's a private one. Okay, so therefore I will keep private. And then whether I need to getters and setters both, no. In this case you can see I'm going to use only set barcode method, so therefore I'm going to use generate only a setter here, and I'm not going to add anything into this Java docs. So then I'm going to click OK. So now you can see we have generated this one, and after that we are having this set barcode method as well. So now I will duplicate this one so it's easy for me. So then the second one is name, third one is author, fourth one is price, and fifth one is quantity, and again we need to have another one, so that is con, but that is not any string, so that is the connection. Okay, so that is connection. So if you are using this connection class, it is outside the packages that we are normally using, so therefore we need to import this package. So we need to import java.sql package here. So then we can use this connection class. Okay, so these are the properties we need to use: barcode, name, author, price, quantity, and con. So you can see barcode, name, author, price, quantity, and con. Okay, so now the next one is we need to add a constructor here. So there is an empty constructor, so I'm going to use this tool here. You can go to the insert code, and here I'm going to select constructor, and I'm going to add an empty constructor. So therefore I'm not selecting anything from this list, and I'm going to click on this generate. So now you can see this is the empty constructor, and inside this empty constructor, so I'm going to create a connection as well. So that means once I'm going to create an object by using this constructor, so that object will by default add a connection. So that means that object will have the connection initial, so we are having some initial connection with this object. To do that, so I'm going to use con equal. So here I'm having db connector class, so I can use this db connector class. So last video we use this one, so I'm going to create a new db connector object here by calling the constructor, and then I'm going to call to get connection, so then I can get a connection. So now once I'm going to create a object by using this constructor, so it will create a connection as well. So that means this object is always with a connection, database connection. And then next constructor is a parameterized constructor. Okay, so in this case I'm going to use a parameterized constructor I'm going to add. So in here also I will use this insert code option and go to constructor, but in this case, so I need to add these values. So when I'm going to create this constructor, no, sorry, when I'm going to create this object, I'm going to add these values to this object. So that means I'm going to set these properties with properties when I'm going to create the object. So then that object will always with those values. So then when I'm using this object, so those values will be there with that object as well. So therefore I'm going to tick all these things, but not connection, because connection is something that I'm going to implement inside this method. So therefore I'm not going to pass it from the outside. So I will tick all these things and I will click generate. So now you can see I created a parameterized constructor here. I am passing some values when I'm going to parameters when I'm going to create this object. And here we need to have the connection as well. This dot con equal, so we don't need to use this actually, because we are having only one connection. Con equal, so we are going to use this db connector. So we are going to create a new db connector object, and I'm going to call to this get connection method here. So then we can create the connection. So now you can see if I'm using this second constructor, this second constructor will set some initial values to these properties, and also it will create a connection as well. So the second constructor is little bit special compared to the first constructor, because if I'm going to use the first constructor, this will have only the connection, this object will have only the connection. But the second constructor, if I'm using the second constructor, the object that I'm going to create through this constructor will have some initial values for this barcode, name, author, price, and quantity, and also it will have a database connection as well. So then it's very easy for me to use. Now we will move to the other method. Other method is according to our class. The other method is set barcode. We already added that one. So next we are going to add the other things. So add book, update book, and delete book. So these are public methods. So I'm going to use public, and we are not returning anything here, public void. And the first one is add book, and we are not getting any parameters. So this is the first method. And then the second method, so it's actually update book, and the third method is a delete book. So now I'm going to create this add book fun method body. So in this case, so first we will use a try catch, because we know that when you are going to run some SQL queries here, because when you're going to add some books, we need to run some SQL queries. So we are normally getting some exceptions. So therefore, to handle these exceptions, so we are using this try catch. Okay. So in this case, the first thing is we need to have a query. Okay. So query is insert query, insert into, in this case, the table name. So we can see the table name, so we can go to services and we can go to here, but first I need to run this MySQL service. Okay, it's working now, and I'm going to connect with this database. Okay, and here we can see, okay, so we are having the table name as books. So insert into books, and since I'm going to enter values for all these fields, so I'm not going to specifically mention what are the values. Okay, what are the fields that I'm going to add some values. So then I'm mentioning values. So here I need to add a value to barcode. So since we are using parameterized query, so we are going to add the pointers. Question mark will be the pointer. So I'm going to add a value to barcode, and again to name, and again to author, and again to price, and again I'm going to add a value to quantity. So therefore I'm going to add 5 parameters in this query. So once I create the query, so the next one is we need to have the prepared statement object. So I'm going to create a prepared statement object, pstnt equal, so I'm going to use the connection and prepare statement, and we are passing the query as the parameter here. So then we created the prepared statement. So now we need to set the values for these parameters, because these are actually placeholders. So we are going to set values for these placeholders, pstnt dot set string, and here the first question mark, first placeholder will be the barcode. Okay, second one name, third one author, fourth one price, fifth one quantity. So therefore I'm going to set barcode here. So likewise I'm going to set the other values as well. Second one is name, third one is author, fourth one is price, fifth one is quantity. Okay, so now I have set these values. So now I'm going to run this one, pst dot execute update. So then I can run this query. So that is so this is the method body of this add book. You can see we are having query and the prepared statement object, and then we are going to set values, and after that we are going to execute, and then I'm going to add the update book. So the update book is also same. So the difference is, so we are going to have a different query here. Again we will use a try catch block here, and then I'm going to create the query. So here the query is update which books table, update books, set what are things we are going to set. The barcode is the primary key, so therefore we can set all the other, we can change all the other fields. So that means we can set value for name, and we can set a value for author, we can set a value for price, we can set a value for price, and we can set a value for quantity. But we need to select which record we are going to change. So we are having a where clause here, and we are going to select it by using barcode, and we will pass a value to this barcode as well. So this is my query. We are going to set values for name, author, price, quantity based on the barcode. So now again we are going to create this prepared statement object pstmt equal, and here so we are going to use connection and prepare statement and we are going to pass this query. Okay, so we are going to pass this query, and then we are going to use this pstmt object, and we are going to set values for these parameters, because now we are having placeholders here. Now in this case the first placeholder is name. Okay, so therefore we need to pass name for the first placeholder. Likewise we need to pass the second one author, third one price, fourth one quantity, fifth one is barcode. So now in this case the barcode comes as the fifth one. Okay, second one author, third one price, fourth one quantity, and fifth one is the barcode. So now again after setting these values, so we are going to run this one. So we will use execute update and we are going to run this one. So this is the update book function. So next one is the delete book function. Okay, so in delete book also, so we will have a try catch first, and then we are going to create the query here, delete from books where barcode equal to some value. So this is the query. Okay, now again we will have a prepared statement object pstmt equal. So here we are going to use con prepare statement, and we are going to pass the query, and then we will create the object, and after that we are going to set values for these queries. Okay, so here we are having only one placeholder. Now in this query you can see we are barcode, so this is the placeholder, so we are having only one placeholder, so that is barcode. So after that again we can call to pstmt dot execute update method. Okay, so now we completed all these method bodies. So now the class diagram is completed. So now we are going to integrate this class diagram with our application. So we will go to this manage book, and then I'm going to first I'm going to implement this delete book. So I will double click on this button. So then we will go to this method, action perform method, and here the first thing is, so I need to so in a delete operation, so I need to mention only the only the barcode, because based on the barcode only we are going to search which record we are going to delete. So in this case, so if you go to this delete function, you can see this query is only using barcode. So this is the only value we need. So therefore we don't need to use the parameters query in this case. So we are going to use an empty constructor. We don't need to use the parameters constructor here. So we are going to use empty constructor in this case. So first I am going to create a book called B, big book object called B, and this is a new book object. So we are going to use this empty constructor to create this object. So then I'm using object, and I'm going to set a barcode because we need a barcode. So then we need to get the barcode. So from where we are going to get the barcode? By using this J text field 1. Okay, so J text field 1 dot get text. Okay, so then we can get the barcode, and now we have set a value. So now we can run b dot delete book. So once we run, so we know that we need to update our table as well. So therefore so we can use this jtable field method we already created that method during the last video. So you can see this is the JTable field one. So we created this method, so we are going to call to this one. Okay, now that is okay. So we will run this one and see whether it's working. Okay, first I will use clean and build. Okay, now I'm going to run this one. So this is the available books. So we will delete the first one. Okay, you can see it's deleted. Second one, yes, deleted. Third one, deleted. Fourth one, deleted. Okay, so like as you can see, now it's that function is working. So we will move to the next function. So next function, so that is the update book. So the update book also same. So now this is the action performed method. So in this method, first I am going to create a book object. Okay, new book. Okay, so new book object. But in this case, so now we are going to update. When you are going to update, so you may remember that we need this information. So this is the update method. We need name, author, price, quantity, barcode. That means we need all the information. So therefore, in this case, I'm going to use this second constructor. That means parameterized constructor, because when I'm creating the object, in this case, I can set these values as well. So therefore, I'm going to use this parameterized constructor, second one. Now I need to set the barcode here. So the barcode we can get from jtextfield1 dot get text. Okay, with this method we can get the barcode, and then the next one is name I can get from the jtextfield2. Then author, I can access the jtextfield3 and I can get the author. Price, I can access fourth one and I can get the price. And quantity, I can access the fifth one and I can get the quantity, because here you can see jtextfield1, jtextfield2, jtextfield3, jtextfield4, jtextfield5. So that is how we are having. So that is why we got it like this. So now once we send these parameters to this constructor, so then this constructor will create an object with these properties. So now we can directly access this update book method, and after that we are going to call this table fill method. Okay, so then we can update the table as well. So now I will run it again. So now I'm going to update this one. Okay, so I'm going to add the name as C++. Then I'm going to click on update. You can see it updated. And this one I'm going to add, I'm going to change name as PHP. So then yes, it's updated. So this one Python. Okay, it's updated. So that is how we are going to create this update button. So now we will move to the add new button. So still we didn't add any actions to this add new button. So therefore I will go to the interface and then I will select add new here, and I will double click. On this one. So then I will move to this action performed method. So in this case we need to open this add new book interface. So therefore I'm going to use a new, and I'm going to call to the constructor of add new book, and then I'm going to set visible true. Then we can open this one. So if I run this one now, so you can see once I click on this button, it will open this add new book window. But here we are having some problem. That means once I click on this close button, it will close both interfaces. Okay, that means we need to change the close operation of this button. So I will go to this interface, and first we need to select the J frame of this one. So this is the J frame. So then I'm going to the properties. under properties you can see there is something called default clause operation, so that is having exit on clause, so we can change it to dispose, so then this will close only that window. And also in this interface you can see that this barcode is read only mode, so you can see it's a very gray color text field, so that means it's actually a read only one. We need to change this into because I copied this from the previous interface, so that is why it's having a read only part. So I can go to the properties and I can make it editable by clicking this one, so then it will be the users can edit, or users can add some data into this one. So now we will run this one and see how our changes apply to the interfaces. So now I can click add new button, and then if I click on this close, so now you can see I'm not going to close entire application, so I will close only that window. So now we will go to this add new book, and once I click on this add new book button, so I need to add a new button, new book to the interface. Okay, so I will click on this button, and after that I will move to the action perform method, and here again I need to create a book object. So I will create it like this, and in this case also I need to select which constructor that I'm going to use. Add new book means I need to add all the information to the database, so that means if I can create an object with all these values, that means initial value for the properties, so then it will be easy for me. So therefore I'm going to select the second constructor, so that is a parameters constructor. Okay, so now in this case also I'm going to add these values. So the J barcode means we are going to use J text field 1, and dot we are going to get text. Okay, likewise I'm going to add the other things as well. Name means J text field 2, and then author means J text field 3, and price means J text field 4, and the last one, the quantity, means JText field 5. So then I'm going to okay, so then I can create this object. So after that I'm going to use this object, and I'm going to call to this add book function. So we will run this one now. So if I run this interface now, so now you can see we are having add book, and after that we can after that we can do some kind of for example I will add some data like this, so I will add it like this, and then the price, so I will add it like this, and after that I'm going to add book. So now we can't see that we can't see whether this table is changed. The problem is this add new book is a different JFrame, and this manage book is a different JFrame. Now this table belongs to this manage books JFrame. So now these add books need to communicate with this table to tell that we have done a modification. So then only this table can refresh it. To do that, we need to give the object of this JFrame to this JFrame. So then only this JFrame can communicate with this manage book JFrame. So let's see how we are going to do that part now. So I'm going to create a new add book interface by calling to this add book constructor. So now I'm going to this add book class, and here we can see this is the constructor. So this is an empty constructor, but now I'm going to create a constructor with some parameters. So here I'm going to use this manage book class, and I'm going to create a property called I'm going to create a parameter called manage book. Okay, so now to save this value, so I'm going to create a property as well called manage book. So we will name it as MB. So this is a private one. So like this we can create it, and then once I got this value from here, so once I'm going to create a constructor, so I will pass this value as well. So now I'm going to save this value into my property like this. Now once I create this class, so then we will have this object as well with this class. So then we can use this object to communicate with that interface. Okay, so now once I add this book, so I'm going to use this the manage book interface, and I'm going to update this table. But in this case you can see that this method is not displaying to me. The reason is here this method we have defined as a private, so I can change it into public, so then I can access it from the outside as well. So now you can see that J table fill is available. Okay, so now I can update it. But once I change this constructor, so now this is not an empty constructor, but we have used this here as well in this case. So therefore I'm going to delete this line because I don't need to run it independently. I'm actually running with that through that class. So if I need to run it independently only, I need that method. So but in this case we don't need to run this interface independently, so therefore I'm going to remove that part. And here also now we need to pass the this JFrame object. So if you need to pass this JFrame object, where's that place? Okay, so in this place we need to pass this JFrame object. So we are having a special keyword called this. With this keyword we can pass this object to the next interface. So now if I run this one, now so I'm going to add a book, so 5555, and name is web application, and we will add author something, and price is 800 and quantity is 4. I will add it now. Now you can see it's adding. Okay, so now you can see we are adding that information to this table. So we are going to add this information to this table. So if I add another one here, okay, you can see we added that one as well. So likewise you can see now this add book interface is actually communicating with this manage book interface because we pass that object to this interface. So therefore this manage add book interface also can get access the methods of this manage book interface. So now we need to do one more thing here. Once I click on this add book button, so I'm going to add this information to the database. Then I need to reset these fields as well. Okay, because if I need to add another one, so then I can add the another one. So we will see how to reset it. Okay, so I'm going to create a separate method here called reset private void reset form. So we will make it as reset form, and in this case, so we are going to reset these fields. So I will take these fields. Okay, and then okay, I will, okay, without taking this one. So I'm going to first call to jtext field 1 dot set text, and I'm making it empty. So likewise I'm going to set all these fields empty. 2 3 4 5 empty. Okay, now once I add this book, so now I'm going to call to this reset form method. So then it will reset my form. So now I'm going to run it again. Okay, so we will run only this interface. Now I'm going to add a new book. So this time we will add barcode like 6666, and name is HTML. Okay, author somebody, and price is 700 and quantity is 5. Now I'm going to add it. So it's added, and also it resetted my new book details form as well. So that is how we are going to do it. Now we will try to run our entire application. So I'm going to click here to run the entire application. It's asking for a login, so I will give the login as demo. So that is the user account we are having in this database. So then I can log in here. So then I'm going to click on this manage books one, but still we didn't add that action, so therefore I will go to this dashboard one, and here we can click on this panel. Okay, so this panel, okay, so this panel, and then I'm going to properties, events, and I will select mouse clicked, and I will click on this method. So once this mouse clicked, so I need to open new manage book window, and I'm going to set visible equal to true. Okay, set visible equal to true. So then okay, then I'm going to run this project again now. So we will use demo and the password. Okay, now I click on this one, so you can see it's opening, but still we can't see that that cursor is changing, because we need to tell that this is a button to tell that one. So we need to change this cursor's appearance. Okay, so we will see how we are going to change that one. So I will go to this dashboard again, and I will click on this manage books panel, and I will go to this properties, and this properties, okay, so you can see, so we can tell that which cursor we need to use. So I will use hand cursor. Okay, so now I'm going to use hand cursor. So now if I run this interface, okay, once I come here, now you can see my cursor is changed to hand. Okay, so that means my cursor is changed to hand. So that means what? So now it's telling that it's a button. Once I click on this one, okay, it will open this interface. So that is how we are going to handle those kind of behaviors. But again, you can see that if I click on this manage book, if I close this manage book interface, so it will close the dashbook as well. To handle that one, so like we did with add new book, so we can go to this, we can select the JFrame, and we can go to the properties, and here we can select this one, dispose. So then now if I run this dashboard again, once I click on this manage book, it will open this one. If I close this one, this dashboard will remain on my screen. So that is how we are going to handle that part. So now I will run my entire project. So first I will give the username and password, and after that I am going to sign in. So then I will get the dashboard, and after that we implemented logout, exit, and manage book only. So now we are going to click on this manage book, so then it will open this one. So if I need to update something, so then I can update it like this. I will make this as PHP 8 and update. Okay, you can see it's updated now. And then if I need to delete something, so I can select that one and I can delete it, it will be deleted. And if I need to add new book, so I can add it a book like this. Okay, so we added that book PHP 5 like this. Okay, and I'm going to close this interface, and I will close this interface, and after that I can log out or exit from this application. So that is how this application is working. Now once we implemented this application, so that means after completing all these functions, so we need to have an executable application, because we cannot ask someone to use this NetBeans project and run this application. It's not practical. Okay, so therefore we need to have a way to get an executable file from this project. So this is how we can do. We can use this Java archived option in this case. So we can go to this project and right click on this project and go to properties, and under this properties you can see under build we have something called packaging, and then we can click on this compress jar file option, and then we can click OK. After that, go to activity 4 again, project name, and right click and use this clean and build option. Okay, so after that you can go to the project folder. Okay, so we will go to the project folder, documents, and NetBeans projects, and this is activity 4. So I will go inside that one. So we are having this folder called dist. Inside that we can see the activity 4 is there. Okay, now if I run this one, you can see it's working. So now I will close this NetBeans. So I'm going to close this NetBeans. Now the NetBeans is not open. I'm going to run this one. So now it's working. And if I click manage book, it's giving this one. So if I need to delete, I can delete. If I need to update something, I can update. If I need to add the book, I can add this book. So likewise, all the functions are now working. Now you can see here we don't have NetBeans, so this is run independently. So that is the power of jar. So we can create jar means actually Java archived. So we can use this Java archived option to run to create an executable jar file from your project. So that's about this video. Thank you.